Sakata Gintoki is the best role model someone can have. But I learned it from Gintoki! Sakata Gintoki is my favourite anime character. With a lot of things, I find it hard to choose a favourite. Anime, games, music, anything really. There's never something that I can outright just choose as my favourite. But for anime characters, Gintoki is the obvious choice in my mind. Because he's not just provided me with entertainment or made me feel emotional, the effect he's had doesn't stop when the anime ends. It's followed me into my real life. Sakata Gintoki has changed my life. Now, I don't want to act like a master psychologist or philosopher, but there's no way to say these things without sounding like a pretentious arsehole. There are a lot of problems with society, but as a young person, there's a particular set of problems that have become especially prevalent to me. I know not everyone is the same, but we live in a mostly narcissistic world in which people show themselves and their achievements off. Plastering vain selfies over social media, wanting clothes purely because they're expensive or branded. So many people are obsessed with image. Another problem we face is the pressure of feeling like we have to achieve something. Whether it's being pushed to go to university or college, or certain jobs being stigmatized, we're forced into the idea of having to achieve something in life. Or having some kind of goal. Having to compete with people socially and professionally. Constantly comparing ourselves to one another. And I think this is really bad for self-esteem and just people's sense of worth. The complete antithesis of these problems is Gintoki Sakata. So who is Gintoki Sakata? Unlike many other protagonists, Gintoki has already gone through his journey. We meet him after he failed to do what he wanted. Gintoki fought in a war to save his teacher, but ultimately failed. We see the several ways he could have reacted in his fellow classmates Takasugi and Katsura. Firstly, Katsura seeks to change the country that took his teacher from him by becoming a rebel, while Takasugi seeks to destroy the country that took his teacher from him. And lastly, we have Gintoki himself, who was lost after losing his teacher after being unable to achieve his goal of protecting those he cared about, and being unable to follow his code. But we see him form bonds with people like Otose and later Shinpachi and Kagura, earning their respect through being kind and honourable in his unique and more subtle, modest way. It's through these interactions Gintoki overcomes his insecurities, and lives day by day and simply fights when people get in the way of his simple life and threaten to hurt those he cares about. The fact he also runs an odd job shows how beneath his rough exterior he wants to help people. And to me, that contrast and modesty is really awesome and respectable. Gintoki teaches us that failing is okay as long as you move forward. Gintoki shows us that failing isn't a reason to stop trying. Even though he failed to protect his teacher, he keeps making bonds and protecting people because even if he fails, it was worth it. Something mentioned throughout Gintama is Gintoki's silver soul. So what does this mean? To me, it means the antithesis of what I mentioned earlier. It's hard to put into words, but it's just being respectable without showing it off. Being true to yourself and just not caring. We see this in Gintama through Gintoki's interactions with the world. Most people bend to the world around them, but Gintoki ignores the social norms or important people and acts true to himself. We see this with things like him reading Shonen Jump and eating sweets, which may be seen as childish. This adds to his relatability as well. He's probably the only anime character that's diabetic. Seeing someone so cool have these flaws makes it easier to embrace our own insecurities and not feel ashamed or worse for stupid reasons. Not only can this be badass in more serious scenes or funny in less serious ones, it's also really inspiring and honourable. To me, the Silver Soul ideology is really important. It's about finding honour and pride in yourself, but being modest about it, and living in your own unique way. What makes Gintoki special is that he doesn't have a large goal or any goal at all. He's simple, he lives day by day wanting to protect the simple things in life. Life is constant pressure. People are constantly made to feel like they have to achieve something or compete with people. Gintoki reminds us that doesn't matter, and that we can feel proud as long as we're moving forward and growing in our own way. And this links with the Silver Soul, not caring about what people see as successful. For me personally, this has helped me a lot. I'm currently in sixth form and I've felt pressure to go to university or feel like I've got to have a plan, when I have absolutely no idea what I want to do with my life. But Gintoki has helped me realise that you don't need to have a plan, just keep moving forward. Gintoki's simple life has helped me cope with the pressure to achieve something. Gintoki's lack of big goal is inspiring. It's changed what I see as respectable. Just doing everything you can to do what you love and being modest. Gintoki fights for simple things, and it made me acknowledge and think about them more and be more appreciative. Gintoki and Gintama also present a lot of other good messages and qualities, like accepting people for what they enjoy and who they are, living by a code and being dedicated. It teaches honor in simple things. Another important thing I feel Gintoki teaches is just not to take things too seriously. Nowadays, the world is full of people who take themselves too seriously. Often people can't take jokes or just act really prideful. But Gintoki doesn't do that, and it's really helpful acknowledging insecurities and making light of them, instead of burying your head in the sand and running away from your issues. It's really important not to run and hide from issues. Gintoki never runs away from his problems and insecurities. He fights himself and becomes better. His teacher says something that I think really gets across what I'm trying to say. From here on, wield the sword not to strike down enemies, but to strike down your own weak self. Wield it not to protect yourself, but to protect your own soul. Now, I'm gonna get cringe and personal. Growing up, I experienced a lot of bullying. It completely destroyed my confidence and self-esteem, to the point where I was basically mute. I was too scared to talk to anyone and scared what they would think of me, and scared of if I was being judged or not. A lot of stupid crap. I would completely run away from this problem I had, but Gintoki really helped me. Him not running from his issues really helped with those initial pushes in facing my problems. Obviously, I didn't get better right away, but it didn't matter. I was moving forward and getting better, and Gintama taught me to be proud of that. It really helped with my self-esteem. Gintoki completely changed my mindset, and that's what allowed me to gain more confidence and pride in myself. And despite not being the most talented or amazing person ever, I could take pride in moving forward and growing like Gintoki. Before, I may have been stressed about not getting to where I wanted to be straight away, but Gintoki taught me to live day by day and keep going, and it really helped. Gintoki changed my life. A good way to help explain Silver Soul is to compare Gintoki with Kintoki. Gold versus silver. In the Gintama arc, we see a perfect version of Gintoki take his position and his whole life, leaving Gin alone, with his friends not remembering him and thinking Kintoki was there all along. Despite being this amazing guy who helps people and protects what's important to him, he had flaws, like being a dick or being lazy or selfish. Gintoki doesn't have any of those issues. He's gold, better than silver. But through the arc, his friends start siding with him again because those flaws show his good qualities. It's the contrast between him being flawed and him being this really cool guy that make him stand out as special. He doesn't try to be gold, he's content with being normal and silver, which makes him relatable and unique. It draws people to him. He may not be the best, but that's what makes his light shine even brighter. Gintoki may fight with his friends over stupid things or do stupid things. He may do things that go against all the positive things I've said. But it's that doubting yourself and living and not being perfect that I really respect. In a time in my life where I was so lost, this cool and relatable character was exactly what I needed. I think what he teaches is so unbelievably valuable and important. If it weren't for Gintoki, I would be a completely different person. I know it's kinda cringe, but this is the only piece of media that's actually changed my life. To me, this feeling of Gintoki and his silver soul is such an abstract and powerful feeling in my head. That's really guided me to where I am. It's really hard to put into words. Without having a concrete goal or plan, I can keep living and moving forward because of Sakata Gintoki.